Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. So, it's been an exhausting day, but I'm here getting ready for my stream regardless. So, I hope everyone has been doing well, and I don't think there's honestly much preamble to go through. Just head straight into the game. We will just continue off where we left, which was starting up day 2. Have quite a few things. We just finished investigating the body, and Kim needs to take the body to processing. So I don't think there's anything.
The trash container stands in the spring snow. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
Okay, doesn't look like there's anything new here, so we'll just
The
close
container
the lid.
sounds a muffled gong.
And see if we can talk to you again, see if you've got anything new to say.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Calls radio puke twice, wondering why you don't.
Stay away from me, pig! You don't want to see what happens when you corner me.
Okay, so she's definitely not willing to talk to us. Let's see who Kuno is.
Necromancer, pig. That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Oh, brutal shit. Tell me. Kuno dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in a hail of bullets. Gonna look like a fucking porcupine.
Porta Rosa, a side alley of the Boogie Street Spearhead. A young man in his early 20s approaches patrol officer Emile Mullins and asks for a cigarette. As Officer Mullins reaches in his coat pocket for the pack of Astra he just purchased this morning, the man shoots him point blank in his chest. Breathless, the patrol officer collapses in the gutter. His right hand is grabbing the armor on his chest. The bullet didn't pierce it, but he can't breathe. On the pavement, the patter of the perpetrator's feet growing distant. Bleed, pig. Someone opens a window and says, but Emile cannot see who. His sight grows dim with pain.
Yeah, I will say I'll be there for you. Kuno.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about your shack again, seeing as this is not dimmed. Let's see if there's anything new.
The fuck do you want with it?
Or is this because we didn't actually discuss these options after we died the first time?
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Okay, so we'll just leave that then. So Tuesday we've got wash off the death smell and the blessing. And obviously the wild plains rep as well. Track down the badge. Tattoos. So yeah, we've still got quite a lot of things to get through. So get the hangman's boots, the smoke on the balcony. Ah yes. Boots, the boots. Quite interesting. I think we're okay on that for the moment, and we have a level up point in hand, so we'll just wild pines that I remember correctly. Hello, I don't think I saw you yesterday. You see a sturdy woman humming to herself. She seems to be browsing.
The ship takes off like a silvery mosquito, unfolding its rotor blade arms. She mumbles reading, then puts down the soft cover.
Sorry, I didn't realise that the narrator was actually going to speak the non-spoken parts.
Yes? Hello?
Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much. If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read. It is.
Okay, anyway. Things over here. Checking this. Okay, there's something down there, apparently. No idea how we'll actually get there unless obviously basically get. Okay, right, so we need the crowbar in our hand again. That. Yep, there we go. Ooh, signal blue naval coat. Nice. Definitely nice. And interestingly, could that actually be a way into this? So we obviously have a crowbar. We could potentially smash waste.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Okay, conceptualization, very low chances. 3% even with a +2. Okay, so maybe not that then. Huh. Go down and this woman. Oh. He has to say to us. Checking. Nothing else. Okay, hello.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
He steps closer and holds out a hand over the way. Joyce L. What does the L stand for?
Leighton, my maiden name.
The bony hand dangles from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Oops. So our reputation kind of precedes us then.
I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold as you shake her hand.
Like steel. There is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
Okay, so I'm just going to work my way down from the top. So yes, first question, you're on a boat. A very astute observation.
Why, yes I am.
He looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Like, not a lot of people on boats are there. Does she have a name? Do you have a license? Well, I'm going to presume she has a license, but I'm just going to say...
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
We're on an archipelago, and look at...
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
I thought we were in Revachol.
We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here, probably because they can't afford one, but...
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Implying that he thinks her boat is a toy, maybe.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
Oh, does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
What kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing, though these days I mainly use it for business.
Interesting. Interesting.
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Oi, I want to know things.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Do you have a license?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on this.
Interesting. The Wayfarer Act, a law saying she doesn't need a license. Interesting. So just theorizing, is that some kind of situation where arguably if you don't have a permanent residence, you can just live on a boat without needing a license, maybe?
Good.
Hey, you seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality bit in.
This reality.
I got so drunk I forgot everything.
What?
I went on a 3-day bender and now need you to explain the world to me.
Such an acute encephalopathy. Just doesn't seem possible. Surely you're joking.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Right, so a 42% chance RCM Kim D done. On the conceptualization. Where is conceptualization? It's up here. Let's grab one, seeing as there is something else we need to do for that one. So let's just go, where are
We're
we?
in Martinez, baby.
And what is Martinet?
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
You tell me more about Martinet.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
Okay, so you mentioned a sea. What sea?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Okay, that sounds vaguely like the Atlantic, but I don't know if I'm just reaching for connection.
Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
So what's the name of the island?
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
Okay, Caillou. I think we had actually found that out previously. So let me just get my notebook and turn back to the right page once again. Gosh, where is it? Where is it? Oh no, it's actually further on. Yeah, there we go. Le Caillou. Gotcha. Okay, so I've got a vague or vaguer idea of where we are then. Okay, yep, got that then.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her and to humanity at large.
Okay, so that's Martinez. What about Revachol?
Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city.
And kind of city.
Great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
So who built it?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Semenine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed.
Interesting.
In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago.
Interesting. DeLorean century. And why would it resolve
They
this?
say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
Wow, okay, when they were saying an island, I admit I was thinking something smaller than that. 200 million people. Oh. Hang on a minute. Let me just see. So that might actually be about the size of the British Isles. Okay, bit more. Oh no, I was thinking of the population of the British Isles being the population of. Okay, yeah, so 72 million for the British Isles, and this is almost 3 times as many. Interesting, and the fact that it's obviously not just the size of it, but the fact that it's able to sustain up to 200 million people, which implies a lot of natural resources. So we're pretty much at the centre of the world then.
Oh, we're quite a way off. About...
Points across the water where the skyscrapers
A
rise.
sparkle of lights on the horizon, like morning stars above the curvature of the planets.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
Just gonna say
She
that.
observes your eyes scanning the horizon, then breaks the silence, slowly. This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
Oh, let's have a look at that. Jamais vu. Derealization. Oh dear, that's not a good thing. I've experienced derealization in reality and it is scary. It is scary. Okay, I'm gonna internalize that one. Add that to our list.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
Okay, fine, I get the point. I'll ask her questions about all the strikes and the murder and everything.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
Okay, so we'll say that's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
So tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
Okay, so what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, linking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
Okay, so how much money do you
I'm
or
not
does
at
the
liberty
company
to
have?
discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
Wow, okay. So there is definitely a high level of wealth in this area, but also a very high level of poverty.
A billion?
Failure. What exactly is a billion?
It's a number, officer. A big one.
Is it made of?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands. 20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments.
A wave hits the sloop. He grabs the mainstay for balance.
A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility.
Oh, where does Wild Pines get all that billion?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain.
Okay, right. So they started off basically like the East India Trading Company then. Effectively started off like that and have just basically continued to dominate that division.
Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
Does Wild Pines want with a place like this then?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
So what can you tell me about the strike that's going on then?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're at a stalemate, I'm betting.
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Oh, you mean Measurehead?
Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead.
So the strike is connected to the lynching.
Yes, I believe there is a connection. But that's a subject for later.
Oh. Oh, okay, so there's something she's not keen on telling us there then.
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
Oh, it's been going on for that long then.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
So what's happened to Galmon then?
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
And just as I said, what happened to this Galmon?
Mr. Clare told him to, how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Not cool.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
Hey there, Toxicite. Yeah, no problem with the lurk. Thank you for popping by. Yeah. Can't work out today because it's too hot. Too many people at the gym. Oof. Working at home and then work. Alright, no problem. Like I said, thank you for the lurk and thank you for popping by. Yeah. So, what are the union demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Oh dear. Every worker, 72,000 people being a member of the board. Nothing would get done. Nothing would get done if that was the case. Yeah, it seems like they have no idea about
In its
business.
defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board.
Oh, most of them probably don't know what that means. I'm not keen on saying that. I'm going to say just what does that even mean?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what? About anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
Okay, so this is just a local strike for the Martinez thing. It's still 2,200 people. Again, impossible to get anything done.
Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Well, the workers can't be kings. The king is king.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
So what are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags, a disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
We have encountered him then.
This checks out.
Oh, and the scabs at the gate, did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
Well, let's call them strike breakers then. But you put them there, right?
If these strike breakers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
So basically you're confirming that yes, Wild Pines have had a hand in that.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
And what's your opinion of Everett then? Hello there, Frank Drescher. Thank you very, very much for the sub. It's very much appreciated. How are you doing? I hope your day has been going well. We are just at the Wild Pines, I think, union rep. And we're just basically trying to go through everything that she knows about the case. Oh, what do you think of Everett then?
Everett Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really? Hmm.
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
There we go. That's more the Everett I know. That is more the Everett I know.
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Yep, that's him, all
He
right.
is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
And yes, we have heard mentions of his twin brother before, so we know that there's definitely something going on. And it has been a good day. Nice overcast weather. Just did some apartment cleaning. Hope you're choosing the right path, comrade. Well, we'll have to see on that one. We'll have to see which path that is. Yeah, I've been a bit tired today. I'm thankful that it's nearly the weekend so I can actually rest and relax and recuperate. But obviously, we also have a bit of gaming to do, and also I've been testing out a couple of other games in preparation for when I wrap this one up. Not going to say anything about it yet because I still need to decide, but there are definitely a couple of front runners for what's going to be replacing Disco Elysium when it is finished. And we all know what the right path is, comrade. Oh dear. Oh dear, I better be careful then. I'd better watch myself. But yes, I remember hearing something about this Edgar.
Have you seen him?
Well, I mean, no, but... Okay, I know twin doesn't necessarily mean identical, but there is the potential there anyway.
Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over.
Okay, that just answered my question. They are identical twins. So we could have been talking to Edgar when we actually went to see Everett. We just won't know.
It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
So what about the union itself outside of these brothers?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say...
Yeah. I love this woman, though I hate everything she represents. Reminds me of Katharine Hepburn. Yeah, I can see that. So I am very, very much between Edgar and Everett, the boss of Wild Pines, the Union / the Strikers, and then her being like the negotiation rep. It's all a very complex situation. Like, usually I am all in favour of unions and having that collective bargaining power, but it's just whether the union's trying to take it too far or if someone's trying to meddle in there, plus also the fact of the lynching, which is the whole reason we're here. It's definitely a fair bit murky.
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
I definitely wouldn't say they're an effective advocate. Not at the moment, anyway. I'd say, based on what I've seen, I'm very tempted to say it's a giant leap.
Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
So you said something happened in the election?
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
That does not sound good.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the Union's files.
Very eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a Union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Oh, don't worry, I already had my suspicions about them.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
And let's change the
Of
topic.
course. How else can I help?
We have talked to Everett Clare.
You have. And how did you like Mr. Clare?
I didn't.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, Verm-like corruption, reaching into the bowels of the earth.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt Verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something...
Yeah, pretty amazing how realistic it is with respect to how advanced capitalism compromises unions and leaves no real attractive opinion. I won't be specific, but you will be able to have your principles in one form or another. And so many unreliable narrators, yes. I mean, obviously we're investigating, so everyone has their own opinion and thoughts on things. But once again, it's the amnesia thing coming to the forefront, where it wouldn't be as effective if that element wasn't there, because you have to go around talking to everyone. You have no preconceived notions, at least hopefully, of what everyone is doing, their role here. So you kind of have to piece it together and figure out, it's like, okay, where the kernel of truth is, which people are exaggerating, embellishing, or even under-representing various aspects. Yes, this is definitely going to be one that's going to take a good while, which is a good thing. And yeah, you don't really know for sure the degree to which people are manipulating you. I mean, both intentionally and unintentionally, because as much as people in general don't want to admit it, we do have implicit bias. So even without knowing it, there's going to be, just for instance, like some of the people who want to work at Wild Pines while the strike is on, they may have a implicit bias of unions being absolutely atrocious and terrible and just wanting to completely get rid of that. So if we talk to one of those people, you know, we're going to get reports that the union is absolutely barbaric. There's no good that comes from it whatsoever, which is obviously their thoughts and their processes. We know that apparently it's turned into a crime syndicate, but just how much of that is actually true and how much of that is just bias?
How could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Okay, and I'm waiting for this to be another thing I need to sneak out while Kim's asleep to discuss with her.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it.
Okay, so he's helping me find my gun.
Oh. That's so helpful of him.
And some clear Red Scare politics in this world. Yeah, I'm not surprised, given the whole atmosphere does definitely give me, I wouldn't necessarily say United States 1950s, but it does seem to have that kind of element of... I'm not really quite sure what, but it definitely has an element of being afraid of the other and the outsider. And you agree about implicit bias, except in your case. I am, of course, without any. Of course.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling.
Yeah, definitely something I should have talked to, discussed without Kim being here.
He's able to contain the anger and surprise. When I said be wacky, I didn't mean wildly, grossly irresponsible and damaging to the RCM.
I'm sorry.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Of course.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun?
So I'm just going to not necessarily lead on, but kind of say, kind of give an indication of what may be happening in the back rooms at the moment.
Pity now. Well, then it should be any day now. Unless, of course, he's lying to you. Anyway, was there anything else you've heard?
Something else?
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Okay, so anything you can tell me about the lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
She falls silent for a moment, contemplating. Well, this may be the first person we've ran into who's actually going to tell us a good amount of information about it.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Oops. Well, I guess we need to go and find our badge first.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
It won't.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective?
Remember when I told you I cannot remember even the most basic facts about reality?
How can I forget?
One of those facts is where my badge is.
I was hoping your condition was rhetorical, Detective. A questioning technique.
I wish it were.
I have sympathy for your highly unusual condition, sir, and I believe you. But as it stands, I cannot share any confidential information until I've seen both your badges.
Which is fair enough. She has said that it is going to be confidential company secrets. And obviously she just wants to check that we're not trying to get around things by just having one person's ID.
I understand the dictates of protocol, ma'am, but is there no way around it?
I'm afraid not, Lieutenant. These are my employer's orders.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Oh, 58% chance. Let's have a go. It's a red check. We probably need to find our badge anyway. Let's just see if we can get this.
Feelings will guide the way.
Nope.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
So, yeah.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
I only have this case. You have a lot more.
Officer.
Oh dear. This case is what I will be known by. Yeah.
You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back. More than just guilt.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting in. Somehow.
Somehow.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something tangible.
Like what?
The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it.
Well, we've got a lead.
Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Yeah, I'll be frank too, as well, indeed.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Okay, sure. What talk about?
Wow, you work hard.
I do?
Yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
He does tend to bumble into solutions. Yeah, I mean, the suggestion check we failed, it did have +1 sympathy for the amnesia. And I can't recall if you were around when I checked it, but the information that we have on our clipboards, that little stamp thing, where we have 216 solved cases in 18 years, that is 1 case a month. So we are, at least as a detective, very, very good at our job. So being able to bumble into solutions, there must, like, beneath that amnesia, there obviously is still some skill and knowledge to kind of be able to, even accidentally, as you say, bumble into solutions.
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged.
He is a natural detective, yes.
That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. Oh, you do. You make money. You got gills, baby. Meaning those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop and a sprinter and a money printer.
I've made some, sure.
Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself.
The bit about the cardiac arrest is very amusing, seeing as I did actually genuinely have one and died trying to recover my detective's jacket. So that's a little bit amusing. Have I had any alcohol yet? I have had 1 bit of alcohol when we were trying to go and get the body. So I did obviously getting the... it's not ambrosia, ammonia. Getting the ammonia to try and quell the smell. That didn't work. So I had to internalize the volumetric compressor, and I had a bit of alcohol then, just to make sure I could bump over and actually approach the body. But that's been it for now.
Are you rich?
No, I'm not rich.
That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that?
I'm going to say the system is broken.
Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor?
Did my character throw up at the initial examination? Yes, twice. Twice. It wasn't pretty. Believe me, it was not pretty.
Because of the taxes, G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze. Every time you wipe your ass, they got their direct and their indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax, alimony, one tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for. That makes them ask for more money from you. Here. Total tax duties add up to...
Interesting that our savoir-faire is talking about alimony, which implies that whoever our romantic partner was in the past implies that we were married to her if we are paying alimony, or it could just be an example, or it could just be a random example.
98% of all your money.
Okay, right. Was this one of the things that you were alluding to earlier, where obviously you were saying that you'll be able to have your principles in one form or another? And yeah, I'm presuming as well that throwing up investigating the corpse is unavoidable, at least the first time. Maybe if you have a high physique, maybe. Maybe if you have a high physique, you can potentially pass the first one. And 98%, that seems like a pretty big number.
What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples?
Can we trust this faculty? Yes, indeed. And you throw up too, yeah. I would very much have the thought process that unless you know what you're doing / you're able to min-max it, I would imagine your character almost always threw up. Okay, I'm gonna try and go a little bit moderate. I'm gonna go for number 2. How will deregulation help?
It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it.
So indirect modes of taxation, thought gain. Let's have a look at that. And also the 15th Soul Tribe. Rested. Temporary research bonus -2 empathy. Takes 1 hour 45 minutes. Definitely interesting. Definitely interesting, and obviously a way to affect our character. How did you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, you know, not volunteer us to be her henchmen.
So we're henchmen?
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
So do you propose we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
And I'm going to make a comment about trying to find my badge, but I would not be surprised at all if she actually has it or knows where it is, because that would just be, yeah, I would not be surprised.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence.
You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
Okay, let's get back to her then. And was there anything
You're
else?
back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
Oh, I do.
Very rugged. Good choice. Now, I suspect you had questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day. Am I right?
Okay, and let's see if you know anything about these
That's the
tattoos.
man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
So you know something about the
Better
tattoo.
not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
And let's just query what she knows about the drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
So if they've suspected it for years, why haven't they tried to do anything about it?
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
And it comes right through the terminal.
After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Am I going to need bolt cutters for this?
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable.
Okay, I was trying to avoid explicitly calling out the lorries just in case she was just generally referring and didn't have specific knowledge about it, but oh
How
well.
convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight, upstream where it's clearer.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Okay, I've made up my mind about...
Yes?
Hey, we'll take this case, probe the driver, see what he can...
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I suspect the traffic jam won't disperse for a few more days. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. Of course, Detective. Take care.
Okay, so... we had this one. Split a kilo with Kuno. Enter flat number 12. Take down Kuno's dad, optional. Well, I've got a suspicion that maybe he's involved with some of the production. And I mean, it's a task we have on our list, so it can't be going out of our way to investigate it, really. Apartment 8. Okay, 10, 11. Him. This one over here has got the apartment 12.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the doorframe with a safety chain. An unpaid energy bill is attached, threatening to cut off the electricity. It's addressed to Mr. Uno Doroita.
Okay, so yeah, we do have the right one. So interfacing, tool not in hand. Ooh, ooh, okay. It looks like we found where Kuno's dad lives.
And the place comes with 3 months' worth of utility bills.
Okay, so we need bolt cutters in our hand then. So let's get that whipped.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the doorframe with a snip. The cutter goes through them like dead leaves. The links fall to the ground on the other side of the door.
I know there's no stopping you, but let's at least make this quick.
Of course. Okay. Any bit of money? Have a look here. Kuno de Reuter. Okay. Glossy erotica. Yeah. Desk.
A phone book lies open on the table, covering a stack of utility bills. Right next to it, in plain sight, sits a small bottle of amphetamine, conveniently equipped with a straw.
Good. Confiscate it.
The minuscule amount of amphetamine doesn't interest the lieutenant in the slightest. He listens instead to something in the other room.
You mean all the
You
snoring?
pocket the bottle as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
Ooh, regular black jeans. Closure? Yes, please.
A bundle of clothes heaped on the bed. A stained parka, some towels and a duvet. Some socks even.
I would say something here, but I'm not 100% sure it really fits with me. That is very much a wake up or I'm gonna punch you in the jaw.
In the dark, it looks like a nest.
Slowly chapter.
Something underneath there is breathing. It's not too late. No one's going to blame you for backing out. You don't have to do this. Just get out. Your hand touches a greasy duvet covered in cigarette burns and ketchup stains. You hear a growl. There is something alive underneath it. It's deep in suffering somehow. You see a 60-year-old, fat, red-headed man passed out from large amounts of alcohol, and God knows what else. The smell of shit rises from his mouth.
Enjoying a look at your potential future if you don't get off drugs and alcohol? Maybe?
You don't have to take him down. He's already down.
Well, judging by the color of his hair, I would say yes, it is.
The lieutenant's right. The man's unwashed hair bears a familiar ginger tone. Even the hair on his chest is coppery. The light from the window falls into his half-open eyes.
Doesn't look like he's gonna fuck anyone up any.
No, it really doesn't. This looks very hard to recover from. This man won't be feeding his family anytime soon. Not that he was, but at least he won't be beating his son.
A pair of half-open bug eyes is staring back at you from the dark, empty, and frozen. It's clear that the person behind them is not awake.
Can't you tell? It happens to exceptionally committed substance abusers. They fall asleep with their eyelids still open. Not a pretty sight.
And he's just gonna sleep it off. Suddenly, the man starts growling. 3 words manage to escape his mouth, along with a strong stench of alcohol.
Look, he's trying to communicate.
Hey, so we got a 97% chance. Let's...
The man groans once again, but his tongue keeps failing him. It's impossible to make out the syllables. A hand emerges from the blankets, trying to gesticulate something.
Inland Empire. Yeah, definitely an interesting one.
And then it dawns upon you, clear and surreal. Pigs, he says. He's trying to call you pigs. His hand falls back on the bed, limp and defeated. A loud snore escapes his mouth. He's asleep again.
At least he got to say his piece.
Alright, well, I took your amphetamine.
Silence. Only heat emanates from the sleeping body.
As much as I hate it,
What
can
is
we
there to
help
do?
him?
We could turn him on his side so he doesn't choke on his own vomit, but he's already on his side. We could take him to Remedy or Saint-Baptiste, but he doesn't have money for medical services. The arms house would turn him down. They don't do charity for people who are trying to kill themselves. Besides, he'll be dead in a few.
The pile of blankets grunts miserably.
Well, not exactly a happy resolution to that one, because unfortunately, yeah, that's pretty much just going to be, well, Kuno's dad dies, going to be potentially evicted. Apart from here, let's see if there's anything. Okay, nope, nothing of interest in there. I think that was. I was going to say that was all we had. There was someone. Is that in the other apartment? Okay, yeah, that's in the other complex. Oh, did I not investigate this? Did not. 16 days of coldest April. Did not investigate that. Why not? We go report back to Q for that one. Oh, and here we go. Okay, officer profile. So we've got 3 points for sorry cop. Communist, fascist, ultra-liberal, and moralist. So, okay, ultra-liberal, we're at 4. Good cop, bad cop, 14. Honour, 0. Okay. So we are starting to build up who we are. Let's head out into the balcony. There is a couple of things to get over. Let's have a look in this box first. Honey, tarps flapping the wind, forgotten hammers, and name bust. And the door is locked. So the chair's new. Someone lives back here. Hello there, Uparsin. A savoir-faire, challenging failure. Uparsin tries to surreptitiously watch the streamer from the shadows of his hideout, but when he struggles to include CSS in the message markup, the crackling of the chat field gives him away. Hello, how are you doing today? Nice to see you again. Hope things have been going well for you. How have you been? Someone's been sleeping here. Enough coal to last for several winters. Rats underneath. Ooh, we can open this one. 5 Wow. And some more jeans. That it? I think that's it. Yes, glad to see you. You're passing. It's been a couple of weeks last I saw.
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves, but here you are.
But you're doing good. Glad to see you. Yes, same here. But you don't think you saw any stats in that communist column? Honestly, we've just got 2, 2, 4, and 2. And obviously name unknown and rank unknown because we don't actually have details. We don't actually have our ID card. Anyway, so yeah, that's right. We've evolved.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool mutations.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
So is the bed in the coal room yours?
Ooh, not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
It's not the nicest place, but I guess it will have to
It
do.
doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all.
Yes. We're okay. Ultra liberalism is a little higher than the rest, but we are mostly even on the rest of them. Just wanted to check your papers. Yes, officer.
Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens.
So you don't have a real home?
Does anyone in a city like this? Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
Anything you're doing?
Can't you
to the wall?
tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
So you don't quite know.
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mono is here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cards. And my name's not Mona, so... This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation. Yeah?
Yeah, I love public art. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
Oh, anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Well, maybe you can tell us something about the murder victim in armor.
What do I care about some fucking tin eggshells?
Well, isn't it art for the body?
Ugh, alright, sad piggy. I'll give you this one. I saw a little girl in the fishing village running around with military-grade handwear. Looked cute as hell. If you haven't been there, the village is a shithole down the coast from the main plaza. Have a good time!
And there's a little girl wearing the gloves there?
No. That's all the snitching Cindy the Skull does for today. Actually, I don't even know why I told you what I just told you. I have a weakness for animals. It's the animal thing again. Damn it.
Or a weakness for police officers, miss. Thank you either way.
Oh, is that heavy fuel oil you have?
Red dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
Ah, interesting. So I know this is a thing in the UK. It's like we have red diesel, which is diesel dyed red, and it's intended for use by farmers and such. Has no tax on it, and basically if you're found driving a commercial or a personal vehicle with red diesel in your tank, you are in trouble.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock. Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage.
Well, catch you later. Double check, nothing interest. So we do still need to go and investigate that other apartment and see if the smoker there has anything nude in. Probably also just quickly pop by where Kuno is and tell him that we got his split a half kilo or whatever it was, how much he said. The tiny little vial. Apparently there's not much else. So we've got enough money for 2 more days in the whirling rags. Whirling in rags. Don't want to spend more money than I necessarily have to.
Fuck does Kuno Kuno care?
Took care of the drug situation.
Alright, so you got Kuno's kilo. Here is how we do it. First, you give Kuno Kuno's kilo, then Kuno gives you half back. That's how we split it. It's the best way. Street way.
Aren't you going to ask how I got past your dad?
Word on the street is, you sent your little friend in dressed as a hooker, distraction style. That's some sick shit.
Not a single muscle moves on the lieutenant's face.
Good poker face, then. And yeah, didn't know about that red diesel thing, but it's a good idea. Nothing like that in Canada. Many farmers use biodiesel because we have so much corn. Yeah, I can understand that. Hence why I said is like, obviously, I don't know how applicable it is outside of the UK, but I do know it's a definite thing here in the UK.
Kuno wants to hear all about it, but first we split the kilo, then we shoot the shit.
So by kilo, you mean gram?
Kuno knows what Kuno means.
Okay, basically, do I give him the drugs? Or do I... The thing is, I really hate the idea of giving a 12-year-old amphetamines, but potentially it's going to get him / keep him on side. No.
Wow, that's heavy.
He waves the minuscule bottle around and slips it into his coat pocket.
There you go. More than half in there. Kuno's fucking honourable like that.
Oh, and level up.
There is no movement on the lieutenant's face as he stares intently at the trash container.
I think Kim is honestly just going, what are you doing it? And doctors do it all the time. Yeah, because weaning yourself off drugs can be a messy process, and it does need quite a lot of careful observation. And I mean, honestly, me effectively getting the detective to quit alcohol just straight up is not a medically recommended thing whatsoever.
Now tell me, how the fuck are you still alive, pig?
And yeah, I looked around, it's not the easiest life you've got.
The fuck do you know about Kuno's life? Kuno's got plans. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we got plans.
6 meters underground, below piping from before the war, the collapsed remains of the Martinez storm drain system. There are 2 stolen flashlights with piles of batteries next to them, beside 2 bedrolls, in the dark and opening into the lower tunnels.
Like, oh, you mean they give kids amphetamines? Well, yeah, for ADHD. Okay, yeah, they do that as well, but anyway. But I don't think Kuno is necessarily someone who needs to be given amphetamines on a regular basis. Okay, so, well,
Yeah,
I met your bad.
You do some sambo shit, sneak in. Is the hooker thing real?
Sambo is an acronym for Samoan boxing, graceful martial arts stuff. Sambo style implies stealth, cleverness, and cool. Just letting you know.
Yeah, we sneaked in and got out.
You got lucky. Kuno's dad was out getting more drink. Kuno knew that. That's why he sent you. Kuno cares about his pig. Doesn't want his pig to get hurt.
And there's a textbook with your name.
Yeah, so fucking what?
Oh, it says Kuno. It's Kuno.
Fuck are you talking to Kuno about that kiddie shit?
He's trying to fuck you again.
Fuck out of here. Kuno knows it's fucking lame. That's why Kuno changed it. Kuno can change his name into anything. Gonna change my name into...
Don't change your name into that, Kuno.
And yeah, tons of unpaid utility
Fuck
bills.
right there where? Fucking 3 years or some shit.
Let me guess, your dad doesn't give a shit about them.
Yeah, that's right. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit about that electricity and light shit. Just wants to pound on people and drink.
And that's no place to live. You've got to
That's
find
right.
somewhere else.
It's a shithole. Kuno's gonna move underground, Leroy shit, ancient shit. Kuno's gonna live in a fucking catacomb.
Yeah, in a tomb, Kuno.
Yeah, pig, this shit is done. Now get the fuck out of Kuno's face. Kuno needs to drop the bomb. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Oh, all right. So obviously we've got a couple of the new clothes. So we got some things that definitely could help us out if we run into a hard check.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower.
What?
I said, what do I do with you, bullet?
Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me. If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
Jacketed, close to 5 millimeter in diameter.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez. Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Something tells you that won't be any time soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while. The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag.
Oh, hand-eye coordination. We'd already put a point in there. So we can put another one in. You see, that's not going to impact that too much. It's 42% chance.
A rifle, Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique.
Oh, oh, okay. That was a double six. That was a guaranteed success. That was exceptionally lucky.
The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theatre of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago.
Some fourth wall breaking there. Expect to have this in your quest log for a good chunk of the game. Yes, indeed. But obviously the fact that this is potentially like an antique or retrofitted antique, we already know that the pawn shop guy has some figures from the revolution, so that could be a point of reference.
No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling.
But if Fallout has told me anything, if you have enough copies of a gun, you can cut them all apart and stitch them together to make one functioning gun. So who uses them these days?
Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
I think I know where this came from.
Okay. And?
Probably came from a Belmargrave rifle.
An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Revachol, really.
Well, considering I think Revachol was beaten in the revolution, there's probably not going to be too many around, but let's just check.
Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Worth what? Getting shot?
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation.
Interesting bit of or discussion points about guns there. So seems we're looking for an antique.
Doesn't
Yes.
seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself.
The bullet has nothing more to say. Right. Yes, imagine that, indeed. So, let me just check task log. So, find a murder weapon, find the armor gloves. So, the fishing village down the coast. But I think we aren't going to be able to do that one until tomorrow, because I believe that this is like the water lock. I believe that is going to be related to the water lock. So, the jam mystery, smuggle war, ingredients, 3 drivers, talk to them. And then obviously we'll hopefully be able to get some more information on the lynching. So we obviously know at least one person who is...
Snow covers the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage. The white colours nearly meld together.
So obviously we've got one person who's kind of selling various trinkets and such, so potentially he might know someone. And yes, imagine having such guns readily available. Yes.
Do something important? Something murder-related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machinery. Even at a standstill, the unibody Caprice Kanema looks sleek and dynamic. The cabin is tilted frontward to give it a more aggressive, hunched look. Someone has waxed it recently.
The machine really puts the loco back in loco commotion.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look?
Oh,
Yes. An extraordinary machine.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing into it. Flare it up. Slam it down.
probably because even though it's a police vehicle, you still want to be
Helium
understated.
headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot.
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballast first.
Well, if we ever get this case solved, maybe we can do it together.
Maybe. Yes, definitely maybe.
And what engine have you got?
130.
I reckon that's a 7-litre V12 there.
7.2. Supercharged.
Alright. Oh, that's interesting getting to know some little details about the vehicle. And let's go down here. Hello.
Everything's still cool here, officer. Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I've got sneakers, speakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on right here. No shame, only freedom. Anything for you.
Okay, right, so that is basically nothing from you. Did we have anything here? We did not. That is fine. Might as well just keep an eye out. There. Okay, so we're looking for the 3 truck drivers. So obviously you are one of them.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
So we need to increase our empathy to have that one. But you seem like a man who knows about drugs.
Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. Had some good times surfing the psychic waves of my own consciousness, you know? But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man?
Or do you finance those other addictions with drug trafficking?
Hey, man, that's serious criminal talk. Are you trying to pull some sort of an entrapment thing on me? Then what's your deal here?
Okay, unfortunately we can't try and be sly and say we want to find some drugs. We're just wanting to find out who's smuggling
We
drugs.
have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bulk shipment from the harbor to load it on their lorry and drive it to Jamrock.
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed toward a conflagration. Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with those questions.
Okay, well, worth a shot. Anything up here? I think nobody. Interestingly, another cop car there. So pathfinding. I did not like me going up there. I'm just...
Looking for something?
Ah, okay, so this is one of the lorry drivers.
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body.
He takes a long drag on his cigarette. It's like, oh, what's different about narcotics?
You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
He looks it indeed. So you're not smuggling the drugs then?
Not in, not out. I'll never betray the purity of my tribe.
So you're telling us that you don't know anything about drug smuggling through Terminal B?
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Oh, then why are you still hanging around here? Most others have left.
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
I did see one lorry with the trailer doors open on my way here. Know what happened?
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
Bad for him, I guess.
It's a fucking travesty, is what it is.
So if it's not you who's running drugs...
Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealand, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well.
I love how the third option is like, wait, the street vendor, he's a lorry driver? Well, to be honest, probably it's actually a half-decent idea. Effectively, he's trading... If he is a lorry driver, he's effectively trading stuff wherever he stops. Get some stuff from, obviously, where his transport system originates, go to the next stop, sell some things, buy some things, continue on. It's probably not bad.
Of course he's a lorry driver. What? He tell you he's just some simple businessman or some shit? He's selling his employer stuff after he broke the seals on his Humanux lorry.
Or he could just be selling stuff under the table.
His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right. 100%.
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Sealang himself has to say.
Okay, so I guess my initial thoughts on questioning Sealang about all of this were correct, just not in the intended manner.
Guess so.
Alright. Let's just... quick look. I think we're good there. Let's head back to Sealang. See if he has anything to say about any potential drug smuggling. Thing.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
So, what's your stance on drugs?
Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs.
Basically, I'm against drugs unless you want drugs. In which case, I'm very willing to sell them to you, is the implication I get there. So we're looking for a lorry driver who's transporting drugs out of the harbour. They are in this traffic
That's
jam.
so cool. You investigating the local drug trade like some cool narc? But I am not a lorry driver. I am just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
You are a lorry man. Another driver has identified you and your lorry.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole.
He stops to think, which is not a good thing.
Realizing he can't get out of it. Smart man.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream.
So you just forgot to tell me.
Exactly. It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity.
So what do you know about the drug operation?
Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
And what crowd is that?
Crowd. You know, the drug crowd.
Okay. Well, if you don't know, I'll just go and tell your employer you've been selling the stuff.
No use. He's not telling us. He's too afraid. We need to take him to my station and ask him there. After we've called his boss.
Okay, look. There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I spent 15 years working my way up.
Well, if you know who's doing it, then tell us. If you have a lead, then tell us.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
Do I try and... Yeah, I'm going to try and angle for the buddies thing.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady.
Okay, is that the old woman back there, dazed out and strange?
I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
It could be. She was strange.
And who are these other drivers who talk?
All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want us to be cool now.
Yeah, we're cool
Who
now.
exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one with the tattoos?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detectives. Both of you. You deserve it.
Unfortunately, I cannot change Kim's outfit, otherwise I would. I would be so tempted. I would be so So... Woman who... Gosh, we went and saw her. Is she down there? I really can't recall because obviously I know we went past her, but that was about it. Obviously nothing. Okay, so she must be further up. Further up then. No. In there, because we can't get into that section, so it must be up and around. Okay, yeah, I think she was over here. Yes, there she is. Okay, hello?
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph in her hands. In the background, the radio plays.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Snap your fingers twice then.
Where am I? Who are you?
Like a magician recording a subject from hypnosis, you've jolted her back to reality. Are you alright, ma'am? You were out.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s.
Well, when else would you be?
Back in Methka, during the time of the revolution.
Oh.
The sidewalks and cafes are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a new Boyadero picture starring Gabriel Buendero.
Okay, so she's old enough to not only have been around during the revolution, but also old enough to obviously be, well, an adult, independent, being able to do her own thing. Oh, do you happen to have an antique gun that you've been keeping a hold of?
Until you came along, that is.
Oh, this person.
This is Gabriel Buendero.
Shows you the photograph in the lavish amber frame.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen, and schoolboys used to memorize all of his lines.
So you were in Mesk when you were young?
Someone was.
She nods as though her meaning were perfectly clear. So those are not your memories?
They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not? They're beautiful. That is all that matters. Beautiful and true. And they will win. They're coming for this, you know? All of this.
All of what? The world? The present?
I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Loman. It was early spring, and the man behind the Black Sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden.
Her eyes narrow and she appears to take your measure.
While you, people, were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution. In Methk, it was a golden age.
Hey, what's some other questions?
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
He settles back against the railing of her motor lorry. Behind her, mountains of memorabilia, photos and knickknacks line the dashboard.
There's something off about this woman. Tell her to show you the soles of her boots. Maybe she was at the hanging somehow.
What are you hauling?
Diamonds.
Hey.
Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was?
So what are you really hauling?
Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine.
So you don't even know what you're hauling?
I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean.
She says that as if something narcotic is the real reason.
Like, wait, you get high off driving a lorry?
Oh, it's so much more than a high where I go, Harife. It's low. I go to the bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely some kick. Some terrible kick in the dark. A sleep kick. Perhaps you can find out later.
Oh, I guess that makes sense, minding your own business.
What did you expect?
I still don't really understand this whole Boyadero thing.
Of course not. To truly understand the Boyadero, you need to listen to On the Western Plain. It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring Boyadero. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the Western Plain.
And I'm guessing that doesn't happen.
Of course not. The Boyadero returns from the Western Plain a changed man. One night, as he and his beloved are out walking along the river Maygrit, she pleads with him to give up his riding and settle down.
I think I see where this is going.
So the boyadero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Magritte. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him.
Beautiful
The
song.
most beautiful. A true boyadero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a boyadero.
Okay, so we'll just go direct. Show me the soles of your boots.
Now what do you want with an old woman's boots, Sheriff?
It's important business.
I'm starting to think you should let me get back to Gabriel Buenguerro. You are no Gabriel.
Oh, but she does raise her boots.
She's wearing sturdy worker's boots made of black leather. Buckles run across. The sole is also made of leather.
And the other one.
Just before Gabriel, it was the coronation of Franco Negro. Now, there was a real man.
There is no aberration in the pattern you can see. She puts her foot down.
Moreover, the boots were size 37. Tiny. There are too many discrepancies in all this.
And what do you mean it was the coronation of Franco Negro?
It was. And then it was no more. And I was no longer holding my father's hand. He was no longer descending the stairs in Ryle. The crowd had gone silent.
An assassination?
Perhaps it was another Sheriff who came and woke me up, looking at my boots, asking questions. Or perhaps it was one of the others in this carnival. I don't remember.
Okay, I know part of this is giving the implication that she is actively taking some kind of drugs or narcotics. But I feel like she knows more than she's saying, and the way she's saying it is just very crafted in unintentional secrecy.
As she says carnival, she gestures to the empty square with the statue and the machines.
And yep, she's not old.
I could have told you
soul.
that from just looking at them. The size is 37.
Okay, why didn't you tell me before then?
The feet of a little girl, they fit well on the pedals.
So are you the lady driver?
Did you just call me a lady, Sheriff?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it.
Oh, I was told of a woman driver, and you are the only woman here from what I can see.
I'm not that either, Sheriff. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul.
So you're not the driver everyone's terrified of?
I'm only terrifying to small children and to those who used to know me.
Oh, the long haul, that is...
The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there, it's all just... In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay.
You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates, and all you see is an aging woman. In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air. You don't hear any vocals.
And why are you so scary to the people who used to know you?
Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was.
So if you're not that person, then female driver I was told of.
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around when I have my movies to go to?
Okay, well, that's all I needed to know.
Sim.
The woman stares at you, her mind elsewhere now on other matters. Okay, and let's just go and ask about... Yeah, you seem like a woman who knows a thing or two about drugs.
What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary, no drugs can compare.
The adversary?
Yes. There is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
A little bit of fourth wall breaking there. Protagonista and adversario. Well, protagonist and antagonist.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest.
Where could I get an experience like that?
If you don't know,
So what is it that you're holding?
You're man, low man. What of it?
Hey, let me put this another way. Are you smuggling drugs?
Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way.
Oh, you said you didn't know what cargo you were hauling earlier. Couldn't it just easily be drugs?
Just this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grat, on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza to Grat, Lowman?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking
It's
you.
diamonds, Lowman, obviously.
Alright, I didn't ask you about diamonds.
Diamonds are good for you, Lowman. You should try them sometime. Make yourself pretty like Eva de Zoras.
And if you had to guess, who do you think is smuggling drugs?
Easy. It's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from here.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Okay, and if you're not involved with the drug trafficking, why are you still waiting
Where do
here?
you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Look at all the colors and the filters of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains.
I think we're done here, no?
Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Mesky.
Okay, right. So, there's only one person currently see from here. I have no idea what you're talking about.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, the windows are clear. Fumes of heavy fuel oil waft over you.
Okay, just going quickly through that because there is nothing. Let's have a look at you.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything new from here. However, fancies himself a poet.
Hello, Wandering Man. How can I help you? The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
Okay, so nothing there then. Are there any people around a measurehead up here who we can do? Nope, just measurehead himself. Well, let's have a look.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
I know anything about the mug?
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Know anything about it?
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
And why are you not with the hard
I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called Hardy boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading. The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the union alone. And I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Simonies. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman.
Alright. Might as well, so the only other thing I can think of is that we have the gardener around. That is someone we could potentially maybe.
Looking for something?
Okay, right, so maybe it was him we were supposed to talk to.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, first, you know Sealang didn't do it.
He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another lorryman's job. You should be thankful for the tip.
And then why are you smirking?
Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cubs don't run Revachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run anything.
Who does? You?
No. He means La Puta Madre.
The something mother?
The name resounds like a bell in the air, a dark gong. You get a bad feeling about it. Looks like the lieutenant has a plan. Let him do this.
Yeah, him.
Okay, cross your arms and nod.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peonies.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all over the unions.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peonies who'd do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were.
No, of course not. We're not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peony's job to find out who that is. It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way, protecting this fucking thief.
Okay, yeah, Kim definitely knows what he's doing here.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorryman and Carter's Guild.
You've seen that corpse in the ceramic armor there. Did his shitty little guild protect him?
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
He tries to light a fresh cigarette, but his hands are shaking now. The sentence simply ends. Ooh.
The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible nod. I've softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to finish the job. Be careful. This man's still got some fight in him by the looks of it. It won't be easy to break him.
Okay, so this is a white check, half light, 52 or 42% chance rather, +2 for Kim's bluff and pass, +1 saw you snooping in the cabin.
Men like this only respect two things: strength and fear.
Hey, show me her lorry right now. The lady driver's lorry. Where is it?
Fuck you, I told you. I'm not gonna...
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Right. Point 1.
Fucking homo cop. Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days.
Hey, tell me, where exactly is her lorry?
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now, leave me the fuck alone, okay?
A small temple by the monument. Green. Let's get into that lorry.
Indeed. So, one, I'll out. Presume it's a little bit further down. Maybe I'll... I gone a little bit too far. I think I've gone a little bit too far again. However, I don't think this... Oh no, wait, never mind.
Shine on these.
Never mind, sorry. That's the sunglasses. So a green temple. Like any... Aha! There's something highlighted in green there. Yeah, and also the gardener's gone. Interesting thing to note there that the gardener's gone. Yeah, this is definitely a situation where obviously some of the stuff only unlocks when you actually progress to certain points.
This green found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
Very interesting wheel and suspension system there as well.
This must be the one he told us about, unless he was lying.
Okay, we'll peek in the
The
window.
glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and 2 steering levers. Posters cover the small windows in the back. You can't make out what's on them.
Oh, let's try the door handle to see if that has vaguely any chance of being unlocked.
The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. There's no pick in this lock. The owner has put special care into it. It's a recessed design.
So how are we going to get this?
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside. I don't know how good it is, but this investigation has taken long enough. We can't afford it to take any longer.
Which is fair. Okay, we don't have the item equipped. So let's just go and make sure we have that. Might as well just honestly keep the chain cutters and the pry bar just in our hands at all times, I guess.
This green found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins, looming overhead. It's seen better days.
Oh, even with the crowbar, or even with the pry bar, it's only a 28% chance, but we've got to do it.
Pry bar in hand, you take a hard swing at the window. A loud thunk rings out and the pry bar bounces back, leaving a tiny spider web on the glass. Looks like the window might be shatterproof. You may have to rethink your approach.
Interesting.
No, it's not shatterproof. Give me that.
He takes the pry bar from you and gestures for you to step back. Then, with little warning,
He smashes it into the window. Droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and pavement. You can just reach in now.
I was thinking that if this is going to be that important to the quest, Kim's going to be able to do something to get us past the hurdle.
It went better than I expected. Open it from the inside.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals.
Okay, so I am going to take a very quick be right back break. Just to basically get a bit of food and a drink. Hello, Riders of Satellites. You're just popping in just as I was going off for a very, very quick break. But I hope your day has been going well. So while I'm just taking a quick break, I'm going to run just some adverts while I do so. And I'll be back in hopefully just a couple of minutes. Oh, it's no problem, Riders of Satellites. It's just one of those things that just coincidentally happens. There we go. That. And I got myself a nice fancy drink. So, basically in the olden days, before we actually had the capability to pressurize carbon dioxide and inject it into water, people would actually use ginger root to ferment drinks. So I've got a naturally botanically brewed Mandarin and Seville orange drink. And Riders of Satellites, have you played a game? Yeah, and you still stream it. Oh, that would be interesting for me to have a look at your profile then to see what you've been getting up to. Frank, did I jump into one of your streams at any point to pretend you were brain trying to convince you to get drunk? I mean, yes, you did jump in to my stream on Tuesday, kind of trying to encourage me to take a drink. So, yes, you did.
There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be.
Okay, good. That drink isn't fizzing up as much as it can do. You're on the start of day 2, which is pretty much actually where we are. Well, midday. Just hit midday on day 2. Yes, it will be interesting to see how your choices have been differing at the very least. You can carbonize drinks. I haven't carbonized them myself. They're a commercial company, but I have tried in the past. It hasn't worked out too well. And let me just give you a shout out, actually, just so that if anyone else is interested in seeing another playthrough of Disco Elysium, I keep on pronouncing that incorrectly, Disco Elysium, then people can be nice and curious. But yeah, basically the idea is that you get what's called a ginger bug, or you create a ginger bug. I can spell it correctly. So it does mean that it is just vaguely alcoholic, but at like 0.5%. But it is very fun to at least have your own homemade carbonated beverages. Okay, yeah, that one, just a random link from Google, just if people are curious. And that one actually gets to the meat of the matter without too much preamble. But either way, let's just go through and examine everything that's in the cabin.
These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century.
No, not kombucha. It's something a little bit different. Obviously, the same fermenting process. Kombucha versus ginger bug. It's the same fermenting process, but kombucha actually has the like bacteria and yeast culture in it. So it's like kombucha, black tea, green tea, or mushroom tea, whereas the ginger bug is made with ginger roots. So they're similar but different. But yeah, it is interesting. I love how you can go through all different like places and cultures along the world, and yet you will see certain things that are just across the world. Yeah, they are the ginger fermented drinks I get. They are expensive, so I just keep them as an occasional treat, a little treat. But hey, Fentimans, if you happen to be watching, I will be gladly accepting a sponsorship from you.
One of them particularly catches your eye. A centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of amberette, wafting through the bitter air of the cabin. The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume, probably grenade number 5.
And interesting, that does make me wonder, is that a familiarity because your partner, or I presume wife, may have used it?
The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera.
Ow. Ow. Okay, so... Sorry, I'm munching on a donut as well. Ow. So, my computer setup, my desktop, has a glass window. Yes, I am one of those people that has a RGB rainbow unicorn puke setup. So it has a glass side, and this game, because I've got all the settings on high, and because it's summer, is heating my computer up a fair bit. So I just leaned my leg against it, and ow, that was hot. That was so hot. Ouch.
Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly. The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard, and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
Interesting. Right at the satellites, you thought I was going to say a cathode ray tube monitor. No. Nah, all flat screens here. All nice fancy flat screens. If we did have a CRT monitor, honestly, I'd probably have been long since tempted to make it into a bed for my cat, which of course he would never ever ever use. Oh, who would need so many radio stations? Well, I presume if they are running drugs, then they probably want to be in communication with a bunch of people. And Frank Drisher, did not expect it with this game, but yes, you have an 8-year-old tower computer, had to run your air conditioning a bit more when you were playing Stray. Yes, I can imagine that. I can definitely imagine that. I mean, my computer is... okay, about 3.5 years old, just in terms of the main components of it. It's holding up really well. It is... I did buy, like, fairly top of the range specs when I put it together, but yes, it is still getting a bit hot.
For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation, with quite a range too.
A 20-kilometer radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now.
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key.
The ghostly actresses, and the rusty toolbox under the driver's seat, and the oddly bulging seat cover. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver.
And those 3 things sound like useful tools we could have.
But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Oh. Oh, that is telling. That is telling. Sandpaper to increase friction, you'd only need to do that if one of your boots, if the soles of one of your shoes was ridiculously worn down. And your computer's fairly high spec as well, overbought for the time. So 32 gigs of RAM, a graphics card with 6 gigs of VRAM and some manner of i7 processor. Still does fine with most things. Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have my specs on my profile. But yeah, you can have a look and go and see there, but indeed I have like the 8086K anniversary edition, which I won in a raffle. 64 gigs of RAM, graphics card 2080 with 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and two 1440 monitors as well. So all very, very high spec indeed.
Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Yep, and there we go. And it has RGB too. Yeah, so basically I started adding the RGB because the graphics card that I wanted, I was getting it for the specs and the factory overclocking rather than anything else, and it just happened to be RGB. So then when I needed to add in some new components, my RAM has some nice RGB lighting, and my fan cooler, yeah, my asynchronous fan cooler, because I need a I needed one that was slightly higher on one side than the other because of the way my motherboard and RAM is positioned. I needed an asynchronous cooler, so that is RGB as well. And in my opinion, it is nice without being over the top. Like it's kind of centered in the same area, and it gives a little bit of illumination and personalization to it. And yeah, I saved up quite a bit for my new system, and I'm quite glad I did, because that was just about a year before the chip apocalypse, before like all of the mining and processor shortage and everything. So I'm very glad I went for the specs when I did. So I've had a nice steady stable system for all of that.
Sandpaper, a novel technique.
Okay, so I had the right idea, just the wrong thing. Instead of adding the sandpaper to compensate from the lack of tread and grip, it's the other way around. It would, because there's extra friction, it would wear that down a lot further.
Yes?
Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself.
Yep, and one of the footprints had an aberration. One sole was smoother than the other.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching.
And the one also running the drug trade, so potential ringleader?
We've identified one of the footprints, but there are still 7 to go.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls, but there's something strange about the passenger seat. The radio transmitter sits on the center console, and the pull-out toolbox lies hidden under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals.
Yes, I'm getting there. I'm just making sure I'm being thorough and going through everything one step at a time.
Voila! A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen.
Places to drop off some of the drugs, maybe?
Bonne prise.
The lieutenant commends you as you shift through the treasure, well worn and folded into neat squares.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881, high above the mass of brown and red roofs that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield. To Kuron, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road.
Interesting.
This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pox, old military hospital, right adjacent to the 41st precinct.
That's going to be useful to him.
No storm will ever drown Revachol, the great solution to the riddle of history. Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital, now just a ruin under an overgrown park. Beneath the hospital, great sewer tunnels hum and vibrate with life of their own.
Kind of
The
sound.
rattle of motor carriages and lorries driving through long-forgotten tunnels, lit by gaslights. The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen, where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake.
Okay, this is definitely getting very interesting.
These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation beneath the motorway. Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract.
There we go. We get some information.
So it would seem.
The lieutenant examines the maps with a furrowed
The
brow.
RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them.
So this either means that there are people navigating around and trying to avoid the RCM patrols, or, as we've heard, some of these RCM people are, well, linked to this trade and probably take bribes. So where does the contraband end
Hard
up?
to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti behind it.
Besmerti, intent?
The Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol.
And didn't we have a thought that there were 15?
With cool names, like La Puta Madre and Aura Masta. It's a dark parody.
Yeah, the 15th Indo tribe. I have to unlock that one next. Then who do you think is
It's
behind
definitely
this?
not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved.
So basically, if we even try and investigate, we are going to end up in a gutter, dead.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick this up later.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars look silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle, worn from years of use.
Well, that's the last thing to investigate, unless this brings up some interesting new facts.
A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper. It's an issue of Périphérique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
Indeed.
I pull out Toolbot sliced back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Posters, a radio, dust on the windows. He closed the rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce?
Of course. What to say?
Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Fair enough. What do you think of all?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net.
This means it's well-funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it.
Hands up everyone who actually thinks Wild Pines has a stake in this.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info.
Yeah, I'm going to ask about the movie posters, even though that is probably just going to be a non-issue.
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
True, or Everett, it could honestly be one of the brothers being involved in this without the other's knowledge. So, I mean, if they are using effectively Union trucks and getting past all of the security checks and everything, then it does indicate that there's at least some kind of inside work being done.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was what I was thinking. A lot of women there, especially for a lady driver's cabin, they specifically marked out in the posters that there was one male. There was one male actor.
Yes, well...
He doesn't say more.
Unimportant. Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Hello, Tim. How are you doing? Been a while since I last saw you. Hope everything has been going well in your part of the world. So, could the film industry be involved? I mean, maybe the trader's some sort of cinephile?
Yes, well...
He doesn't say more. Okay.
Important.
Right, so we'll ignore that. Seeing as we've got the exact same response twice, we'll ignore the third option. So how do you think this is connected to the Union?
We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Everard Clare would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose. My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road.
In short, this is a future angle. Possibly a good one.
But obviously we want to be cautious and not just jump in. And will the RCM open an investigation?
We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it.
Tim, your part of the world slowly preparing to thermonuclear warfare. Yeah. Obviously I've been keeping an eye on world events. So yes, I'm aware of the situation that's going on. But for me, as is the norm, I will just hope that you manage to stay safe and stay out of the situation as best as you can. Because honestly, it's just absolute chaos. If I'm going to be honest, it's just absolute chaos.
There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we're done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It That's certainly worrisome.
Corruption? Yeah, I think we've already established that.
All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Okay, deep over.
Debrief over. After you.
Back to the Union Wild Pines rep then. I seriously cannot believe how hot my computer is getting with this. Seriously cannot believe how hot my computer is. You're beckoning me over. Have you got something new to say?
I saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble?
Interesting. Your city in the times of Cold War was a target for a few ICBMs. Not worried at all, because when you're turning into ash, you'll not be fast enough to react. I mean, that is true. That is one way of looking at it. That is true and one way of looking at it, I suppose. Yeah. And Frank, really don't understand why this would be taxing my system. Oh, I don't think it's overly taxing it as such. It's just putting out a lot of heat. I mean, maybe it's an indication I just need to clean it up. Let's see. Oh, okay, 83 Celsius on my GPU. That is probably not the best thing. Probably not the best thing, but or okay, fan speed. Okay, let me put that up to 80. And I'm just going to dock that over here just so I can keep an eye on it. But yeah, I mean, I do have the system settings. So it is basically as high as it can go. It's like anti-aliasing. Okay, that's not quite as high as it can go, but all of these are pretty much pushed up as high as I can get them. As high as I can get them. Okay, that's actually getting a bit better now. It's definitely feeling cooler. Okay, maybe not by much, but anyway. Anyway. And yeah, also, despite the stream maxing out at 960, I'm also streaming this. Oh, it's running at 1440p. I've got my second monitor running. I'm also recording to my computer. So there's quite a few things going on. And obviously I'm also running the virtual avatar system. It's hot. Indeed it is. I was actually saying earlier that I just accidentally burned my leg against the glass because it's that hot. Okay, so do we say you did know something about who's smuggling drugs around here?
Nah, man. I was telling you the truth. I really didn't think it'd be her. She's okay. Sort of troubled, but still, a nice person.
What else do you know about her?
Nothing. We just talked a bit. About life and stuff. She left me a key so I can park a lawyer if the jam broke. So, she in trouble or what?
You have her keys. We need that. We need that. And I'll just lie and say no trouble, she's going to be fine.
Oh man, that's like a load off my mind. All that stress was messing up my rhymes.
So what's your plan with the rhymes?
Oh, you know. Tommy Leham's gonna be a musician. Sprechgesang, but with beats. I've got a lot of free time on the road to hone my craft.
Hey, and why Tommy Lahom?
Tommy Lahom was taken. My real name's Jerry Lafitte. Tommy's way better.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
He's a poet. Hit him with your best verse. 28% chance. Let's try.
Your best verse? You don't even have a bad verse in here. Just tumbleweed and liquor stains. Wait, no. What are you doing?
That's brutal, man. But you know, time will...
No, stop. He's already mortified.
Oh no. This was a bad decision. This was a bad decision. Oof. Bad decision.
That's,
Okay, I need to heal. Or at least heal my morale.
In the name of God, what are you doing?
Yeah, I get that, and it's cool, but...
Okay, we've only got the option to continue.
Yeah, I get it. These are your rhymes. They're from your life. Doesn't matter if they're robust, they're honest. So, thanks, man.
Yeah, I have... Oh my
Yes.
goodness, what on earth?
And I also thank you for stopping. We have a drug investigation to return to. How about we do that?
Oh, he actually liked that. So we can actually go for a chance on this one.
In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing. Flecks of brown and gold.
Oh, and by the way, I love that cat emote. Maybe I need to actually get my own cat. Maybe I actually need to get a photo of my own cat into that one. And yes, it was a poet-to-poet moment indeed.
It's hard to say. His gaze wanders southwest, down the street that goes beyond the horizon. The road continues for miles, flowing together with other roads, turning into causeways or bridges, ending suddenly in dead ends, or ramping up or down highways. It forms a crisscross pattern across the land. Above the Jamrock Quarter, in the form of a raised motorway, and then the never-ending sprawl of Forburg, high above buildings, new and old, the air filled with the rumble of motor engines. To the old south, to the farthest outskirts of Revachol, through the checkered fields of farmland, upstream to the river Esperance, past Montmartin, the border approaches.
Kim is a sassy kitty. Yes, I could very much tell that just from the little emote there. I can definitely tell that. My own kitty is... Oh, he's not sassy, but he can be a rascal. He can be a rascal. And I just heard him squeak. I have no idea where he is in the room. I think I just heard him do a little squeak. Oh, what's beyond the border?
You cannot see. It's out of the city. Up ahead, the mist blocks all sight. A gale blows across your cheeks. It is cold. Before you stands a tall lorry driver with sad eyes.
Excuse me?
He emerges from the reverie. What's in the
A
southwest?
flinch jolts his frame. The question has touched a nerve.
I get longing. I felt something similar since I woke up. Squeaky scrimbly.
Man.
Very squeaky.
I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. There's no helping in absence, you know. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. And here I am stuck in this shit, so far from home. Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much, on another island called Laurentide, off mainland. We've got a little place there. Can almost hear my kid laugh when it snows. What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them a lot. I dream up these silly scenarios in great detail of living with them. It comforts me. What about you, Cop Man? You missing someone?
Okay. Here's my Discord. I am just going to find a picture of my cat I put up. Yeah. There he is. And of course, like all cats, he absolutely loves his boxes. So that is my little kitty Ollie. So my avatar and him. Then, you missing someone? Yeah, we are.
Is that what it is? This feeling? No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
Interesting.
Hunted? By what?
By a shadowy figure known only to me as the X something. Oh, hang on.
An ex-wife?
That was close. That was close. That happened to me when we were trying to get my jacket, and I didn't realise how I could heal. So that was close. It's a sinister presence that hunts me across all planes of existence.
Sinister presence? Wow, that sounds really bad. I hope that doesn't happen in my marriage.
Don't worry, my thing has got nothing to do with marriage.
Sure, man, if you say so. But look, man, thanks for this. It's good to talk to someone. I know it wasn't easy to ask, so I hope you find your way through your own troubles.
And we got a couple of points on conceptualization, so we can try and hit him with some more verses.
Wait, there's something here, stored away in some dusty corner. It starts like...
A mirror's temperature is always 0. It is ice in the veins. Its camera is an X-ray.
Whoa. What else?
It is a chalice held out to you in silent communion.
Silent communion. That's good.
Where gaspingly you partake of a shifting identity never your own.
Dang, that's some great shit. You came up with that yourself.
I'm just a vessel for the muse.
Right. But really, no bullshit. That's great stuff. I sort of want to know if it's yours.
I think it may be an actual poet, and I've learned it by heart.
No matter. It's a fine stanza. You're not so bad after all, for a cop. They're more often in the fists than rhymes, see? Let alone honesty in verse.
In a small office behind the old military hospital, hunched under the green glow of his desk light, Officer Hans Blau browses through a test print of his Futurist magazine. It's called The Futurist. The typeface on the header is too small.
Any organisation gets all kinds of folk. I'm sure we try our
The
best.
lieutenant looks at you in silence, a curious look in his eyes, nodding slightly.
Well, you've given me some hope, I guess.
You found some common ground with this man. Even impressed him. The next time you look in the mirror, though, remember those words. Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
Interesting. +1 XP for every orb clicked. All intelligent learning caps are raised by 1. Interesting. So, can we not unlock a new slot? Okay, right, so we can't do that just yet. Cannot do that just yet. Anyway, that is definitely very, very interesting. Okay, that's not changed anything in our political leanings from the look of it. So we need to report back to Joyce and get her thoughts on the lynching then. Were you doing a high psyche run? No, that was not intentional. That was not intentional. It was just the I'm not necessarily picking things at random. but the psyche, I kind of decided I was going to put 2 points in everything and then balance everything else out. So it's just an option. Aw. And that's, aw. Yes, I want to have an emote like that with Ollie. I want to have an emote like that with Ollie. I just need the time to actually get it done. It's a good balance. Yeah, I didn't want to try and necessarily min-max, seeing as I didn't quite know which attributes were going to be good and which attributes were going to be less useful. So I tried to balance it out a little bit. Actually, honestly, if we go back, so physique, I kind of put that one as the least, just simply because, like, how well your body is built, like, okay, fine. And then motorics, because that seemed to be the most useful, and indeed, I think I've actually put, yes, 2, 4, 5 points in that one. Yes, officer. Yes, officer. Aw. In your face. That one's cute as well. I think, honestly, almost every single cat emote is going to be cute. Hey, well...
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Well, let's go for some more questions about reality, seeing as we just unlocked that
More
new
lessons
option.
in basic reality? My favourite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
So 58% for that one. Oh my goodness, plus 12 on that one. Conceptualization. Reach for something fundamental.
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
How do you get the jamais vu thoughts? Let me just get back to that one. So it was something that I actually picked up talking to her, talking about reality. Gosh, it's one of those things that might be so we have get a reality lowdown. So Lena, the cryptozoologist's wife, encourages you to ask others to explain the world to you in greater detail. And then go over to talk to Joyce. She's willing to answer the questions. And then after we did that initial thing, the jamais vu thought popped up. So I've no idea what specifically unlocked it, but that is how I did it.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included. Elysium.
Okay, well, so we know the disco and we know the Elysium now.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
And what is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
Don't feel like I've got the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
Interestingly, so there is some kind of space project going on then?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
So what shape is this world?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol Grad.
there's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona. Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm going to have an existential crisis from all of this.
A cold fear seeps into you.
Pale? And what do you mean by corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
Okay. Right. Okay, wow, right. This is definitely recontextualizing a lot of the stuff I was thinking about the world then. But I must say, if it's like that, then I would be interested to know if there are any thoughts or ideas about future games in this verse, because there could be quite a few things to actually go and unlock and investigate. And they've obviously done so much work world building and trying to create a cohesive environment and narrative. They could not necessarily lean on it, but they could use it and utilize it for more future games and have it in the Disco Elysium universe, as it were. But a fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
And yeah, they've definitely done enough work in here that they can easily justify using the world building to do a follow-up. And I mean, they've gotten, at least so far, they've given a fair few hints of major and almost world-changing events. I mean, even if you go back to the revolution 50 years prior to this, there's a load of stuff you can potentially create from there.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides.
Okay, yeah, this is why I was slightly worried about it being derealization, because we are having a derealization episode right now. And yeah, it definitely doesn't need to be a thing. It's like, in the tradition of RPGs with tabletop influences, there could be another mission for sure. Definitely, I'm not saying there needs to be a follow-up, but I'm saying that they've done so much work for this one that they can easily use it again going forwards.
The lieutenant observes you both silently. He adjusts his glasses.
Okay, and we've got a 58% chance for this one, so let's go ahead.
6 kilometers southwest in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?"
If you'd fund it on Kickstarter, I would be very tempted as well. I would be very, very tempted to see what they were planning.
"Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. Don't worry, Emil. He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
Hey, what am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
The Revachol Citizens Militia.
Preciso mundo.
And what is that?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
And yeah, you said de facto, not de jure.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
So I'm basically a lackey of capital, so I'm basically a thrall to foreign interests. I'm basically one of the good guys, or so I'm basically going to avoid this subject and ask the next question in this line of inquiry. So I'm basically a thrall to foreign interests.
There's nothing basic about your role, detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown.
Yeah, and we've heard about the nuclear pile meltdown.
They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
Okay, so we'll head
Glad
back.
to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
And yeah, we spoke with the lawman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Where exactly are those eyes located? I thought so. There could not be an option where you didn't know something.
Doesn't really matter. And I do apologise for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely. That would give them a read on the entire quarter.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
I was worried about that.
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Revachol West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
Okay, so tell me again, how are the lynching and the strike
I
connected?
have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Oh dear. And let me guess, that was the person whose murder and lynching we are now investigating.
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker.
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him.
Oh, dear.
He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
And yeah, the Union is not going to take that lightly. They're going to retaliate, and it's just, as she said, going to be a bloodbath.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
I presume find out who the people involved in the lynching were and lynch them in turn.
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. It's not good, no. My only hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a Hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
It is not pretty indeed.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
As I said, a bloodbath.
Yeah, I think the confrontation is inevitable.
It doesn't have to be like this. Nameless, badgeless officer of the citizens' militia. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Right, okay. I'm just going to say that's enough for now.
I have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
And again, that's all for now. So again, save the game. It's auto-saving anyway, no matter. And out to the main menu. Okay, so I think that gives us enough leads to work on where we can start from on next stream. So as per usual, thank you everyone who's popped by to chat, lurk, and just generally hang out. It is very much appreciated. And thank you, Frank Drescher, for the sub as well. That is also very, very much appreciated. I'm just waiting for Disco Elysium to fully shut down, and I'll have a look to see if there is anyone that I know we can go and raid, / see if we can say hello to someone new. Okay, so no one really online playing something that I'd want to transition over to. So let's have a look. So there's a new game called Bear and Breakfast, which is being pretty popular. I basically know nothing about it. other than that, it is indeed a fun game that has started to take over Twitch. So, oh, there's actually another UK VTuber. So I'm just going to quickly pop over and have a look at their stream and just to have a quick check, and we may go and raid this person. Okay, yep. I think I'm going to go and say hello to this person. So as per usual, thank you everyone for stopping by, and I hope that we will be able to catch up in the next stream, which is going to be on Saturday. So let me just get the raid stuff up. And raid as well. Yep, no problem. And thank you very much for the sub as well. Exceedingly appreciated. And hopefully I'll be able to see people on Saturday. Let's just get the raid up. Here we go. And hopefully I will see people time. Very much, and goodbye for now.